All right, thank you everyone for joining us for this afternoon's call with Nick Tarburn. As always, please raise your hand and I'll call on you. If you can limit your turn to one question each, that'll help us get through everyone. We'll start with Audrey Snyder.
Hey Nick, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for your time.
Good. Thank you.
I wanted to kind of go back to this winter. Coach Galt said that you were a guy who he thought was going to break out. What changed? Why do you think now it seems like kind of the right time for you?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just from a standpoint of just being fully healthy and just very just having my full health base is the biggest thing. I came into this season doing well, and I know that my goal is to be the best that I can be, just not only for myself, for my teammates, and just kind of with that mindset, just kind of pushing this winter was a big emphasis for me. And and as Coach Gall said, it probably was the best winter I've had since I've been here.
Tyler Donahue.
Nick, it's been a while. Hope you're doing well. We have not had a chance to talk with you much or see you much.
Yeah.
Can you kind of tell us the last 3 years, what it's been like for you? It seems like from the outside looking in, it's been a challenge, a roller coaster ride of sorts.
Yeah, no doubt. Without a doubt, I've had some struggles here. As far as just like I said before, staying healthy and just having the time and the ability to just get better. It was tough. It took a toll on me a little bit, but it made me better and stronger. I take that roller coaster as like just an advantage in my opinion now. Looking back, like I cherish the game so much more than I ever have. Just the ability to play is just something special, and I'm going to use that to my advantage, and I'm just really looking forward to this season.
Rich Scarcella.
Nick, to follow that up, what was the low point during that whole time, and can you describe what your rehab and therapy was like, how difficult that was, and when did you first feel 100%?
Mm-hmm. I think probably the most difficult point of that whole process was just there'd be certain things that I really couldn't control, and I had to learn to accept that and basically control what I can control, and whether that's the rehab and stuff like that. I'd be in 2-3 times a day. It could be from anything from just getting on a bike or from getting into a pool and doing pool workouts or any kind of stretching. I took that as it was hard for me to accept, like, look, I can't control this, I'm banged up, this and that, but what I can control is doing everything I can to get back. And that's kind of been my process. And I guess COVID was a tough time for everybody, but as far as a health standpoint for me, I was able to get the right treatment and I guess, time off to be able to like fully recover my body. So I was probably, by this time last year, I was probably 100% or just at very close to 100%.
Mark Brennan.
Nick, if my math is right, I think you still have sophomore eligibility this year. How fortunate do you feel that after everything you've gone through, you're still relatively early in your career with a lot of football left to be played?
Yeah, exactly. And, I just kind of, that's always in the back of my head just because, I am very fortunate just to be able to still have that extra, eligibility from, the COVID year. And, just knowing I still have, including this year, 3 full years is special. And looking forward to, however my, circumstances turn out.
Joe Giuliano.
Hey, Nick, what kept you focused on doing what you had to do to get over all this adversity? Who did you talk to, and what did that say about the degree of determination and patience you had?
Mm-hmm. I think, from the whole, from my adversity, the biggest thing, is I had my family. My mom and my dad played a huge role in that. My 2 brothers. And, of course, Coach Franklin and all the coaches there were always, doing their best to be there for me and, it was, it was trying times. It was tough, but, just going through that with, having the right people by your side, it means a lot. Without a doubt.
T. Frank,
Hey, Nick, we've not really gotten a chance to see you play. So could you describe what your strengths are as a defender and what sort of game you think you bring to the football field?
As far as kind of what I've been able to do so far, I feel like I'm a pretty physical presence. Off the ball, I feel like I can strike well, play the run game well, and with that, be able to convert to the passing game as well. I think I'll be able to bring a lot of power, some speed, and I'm going to be a tough player. Bottom line, that's what you're going to get out of me.
New Bias Wilborn.
What have you been able to observe now that you guys been able to get on the field, be able to work with each other, and under year 2 of Coach Troutman?
I think it's spring ball is a huge advantage. Losing that last year was tough, but working against the offensive line and Coach Troutman, I mean, they're a very impressive group, and just getting the ability to get these 15 practices in, going against them every day is not only benefiting us but also benefiting them, and it's great competition.
Tyler Donahue.
Nick, you came in, played some linebacker as a freshman, then moved over to defensive end. Zariah Fisher taking a similar path right now. Have you had conversations about him and adjusting, and maybe linebacker was his focus initially, but it just makes too much sense to have him elsewhere?
Yeah, definitely. I think the coaches decided that pretty much as soon as we got back, about wintertime this year. And from him, similar experiences that I had. I'm kind of taking him under my wing right now. He's super eager to learn and is really excited about the position change. And he's a guy that I think can add some real depth and can help us a lot this year. But he's a super great kid and is always looking to learn. And I'm kind of trying to take him under my wing right now.
Audrey Snyder.
Nick, you mentioned that the injuries kind of taught you to cherish the game and not take it for granted. What did you learn about yourself going through that process? And am I correct in saying it was a back injury or hip injury, something like that?
Yeah, it was a little bit of everything. I was kind of nicked up in a lot of spots. But just what I learned about myself is just that, I guess in some ways that I'm, as much as I love the game, I'm more than just a football player. And, I try to do everything I can. Like I said, try to control everything I control, whether that be, the classroom or, just certain rehab and just trying to be the best person I can be. I learned that you can't be, in tough situations you can't be negative. Like, you got to be positive. There's no other way to kind of formulate it or really do anything, because, if you're negative, you're just going to stay in that same spot. So I guess the biggest thing was just, looking myself in the face and just seeing how, tough I really am, and if I can really do and overcome certain things. And that's kind of the biggest thing. It was a wake up call for sure.
Rich Scarcella.
Nick, you made it pretty clear that it took a toll on you mentally, and I was just wondering, how far did returning to the field seem at times? Returning to playing, did it seem like it may never happen?
No, I knew I'd be back. It was just a matter of time of, when I was going to be fully ready to go. And, but no, I knew there was always, I was going to come back no matter what. But, the time is great now. And, I'm feeling the best I have since I've gotten up here. So I'm super excited for this season.
Mark Brennan.
Nick, while you were dealing with everything, you also had to go through the position change. How challenging was that? And you've mentioned a couple times now about being tough. That seems like something you really take to heart. How come?
Yeah, just with just the certain adversities and stuff that I've kind of been presented with. Kind of like I've been saying, you either you kind of either fold under that pressure and just kind of, fade away, or you're going to, step to it and, do everything you can to overcome it. And, like you said, with the position change, it's definitely been tough, but definitely the best move that I've made and that the coaches have made for me, as far as just a physical standpoint of where, I should be and, how I can help the team the most.
Joe Giuliano.
Nick, we talked to Coach Franklin and Coach Scott, and they tell how much respect they have for you and how the players all look up to you. How did you manage to stay engaged with everyone during all these tough times, especially, with your injuries and the year of COVID and all that uncertainty?
Yeah, it's tough. And, I guess I just kind of keep saying it. The biggest thing when, you go through these trials and tribulations is you can't be negative. There's no chance, there's no way that you can be negative. My parents have probably been the biggest, influences when it came to that, the adversity and stuff like that. Like they just said, you can't be negative. You got to do everything you can to stay positive. And I think, through that is kind of how I was able to still, formulate these great connections and always be there for my guys, no matter what.
T. Frank.
Do you think it changed you? Do you think that this process changed who you were and made you who you are now? Or do you think it reaffirmed who you were before and that's how you got through it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think, I was always a tough person to begin with. But up until that point, I've never really faced any adversity when it came to, football or just kind of really in life. And without a doubt, it definitely changed me. It really opened my eyes and, I kind of really began to see what's important in life and just kind of, it definitely changed me though, for sure.
Tyler Donahue.
Yeah, from looking back to looking forward here, Nick, do you feel like you are in the mix to be a starter? And if not, or if so, regardless, how do you think you factor in at defensive end this year? And what's the competition been like during the spring?
Yeah, my goal is obviously to help the team in any way I possibly can, whether that be a starter or wherever. But, the competition has been great. All you guys know, obviously, Adisa Isaac's a great player. The guy we just brought in, Arnold, is a great player. And we got a good group of young guys too. So, wherever I fit, and wherever, on that depth I fall. And, my goal is just to be the best that I can be for my teammates, for my coaches, and to, help this team be successful.
Audrey Snyder.
Nick, what's the most impressive play you've seen somebody make on the practice field this spring?
It was pretty impressive. I think it was last Saturday we had a scrimmage. Sean threw a nice ball to Parker, and I mean Parker made this like unbelievable one-handed catch, and I'm sure you guys have seen his highlight tape, obviously, last year, but also in high school. He's made some pretty impressive plays, but I think that was that catch he made was one of the best I've seen in a while.
Mark Brennan.
Nick, you mentioned your parents. Who else did you turn to for support while you were going through everything you went through?
Yeah, without a doubt, my parents were probably that first stronghold, and my two younger brothers, and just the guys up here, and the coaches all played a big role in that.
T. Frank.
What sort of impact do you think John Scott Jr.'s had on you as a coach?
I think from a technical standpoint, Coach Scott is unbelievable. He's extremely smart with, certain techniques, whether that be in the run game or the pass game. And just the way he teaches it is super beneficial to not just me, but the whole D-line as a whole.
Tyler Donahue.
Nick, if I could ask about a couple of your 2018 classmates, Rasheed Walker, who you're dealing with on the practice field, and PJ Mustipher, who you're working alongside with. What do you will see from each of those players here in year number 4 on campus?
Yeah, obviously guys that have played a pretty good bit here at Penn State. Both super physical, aggressive dudes that love the game of football. It's been unbelievable playing next to PJ this spring so far. It's just super fun, and competing against Rashid every day. He's a great player, and it's not only making me better and making him better, but it's just it's been a fun spring so far for sure, and I'm really looking forward to what we can kind of accomplish together this year.
Mark Brennan.
You mentioned some of the younger guys at D end. I wanted to ask you about Smith Vilbert in particular. We've heard some things from him from some of the other coaches or from some of the coaches. What could you tell us about him?
Yeah, Smith is he's super long. He's got good length. He's put on some weight too. He's a big kid. I mean, he's aggressive. He's going to give you everything he's got every play. He brings another element to the D line that is going to help us a lot. But I think he's a solid player and is really going to start to fit into a role this year, and I'm super excited for him.
Time for two more. Audrey Snyder.
I think I asked Adisa the same thing yesterday, but I think when we kind of look at this defensive end group, there's a lot of guys there, but a lot of them we haven't seen play or haven't played a lot. Why should fans maybe not be concerned about what you all have at that position?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this group is something special that we're building. You can kind of get glimpses of it throughout this spring, but I think as a whole, we have a select group of guys that have different. Disa may do one thing better than I do, or I do one thing better than we do. We kind of complement each other, and as a whole, we're just we're super close. We're working, as hard as I've ever seen us work, and I'm just super excited. Like, just the whole, just the room as a whole is just something special, and I think we can do some really good things with this group.
Last question, Tyler Donahue.
Nick, you mentioned earlier that AK came in and turned some heads at defensive end after his transfer. Can you tell us specifically what you've seen that lends you to believe that this was a big time pickup for Penn State?
Yeah, not only is he a great player, he's also a great person, and he fit well in our room right away, which is a huge just a benefit there. But he's quick off the edge, but he's also powerful and stout in the run game. Just as he's a great kid and a great player, and it's as a whole definitely a great pickup.